1987, Peterbilt unveils the 379 at the Mid-America Trucking Show. The crowd goes silent. This wasn't just another truck. This was the moment the 80s peaked, the final evolution of everything truckers loved about the road. Here's what made the 80s different. More comfort than the brutal 70s. More power than anyone needed. But zero computers controlling your throttle, your shifts, or your life. This was the sweet spot. The era when trucks became custom platforms for driver pride, but you could still fix them with a wrench set in a truck stop parking lot. We're counting down 25 legends from the decade that represented peak mechanical freedom. Stick around till the end, because the last ones on this list take power and size to a whole new level. The cabover was dying, but it didn't know it yet. In 1982, bridge law changes allowed longer conventional trucks without sacrificing trailer space. But throughout the 80s, cabovers still dominated fleets and owner-operators who valued maneuverability and that commanding view from the high cab. Number 1. The Kenworth K100E Aerodyne. The VIT interior package turned this cabover into luxury. High-roof sleepers gave drivers actual standing room. The aerodynamic nose wasn't just for looks, it cut fuel costs when diesel prices were climbing. Drivers spec'd these with the Cummins Big Cam or the Cat 3406, and the K100E became the icon of 80s highway culture. That distinctive profile showed up in movies, truck stops, and custom paint jobs coast to coast. Number 2. The Peterbilt 362 was the smooth-riding alternative. While the K100E had that aggressive stance, the 362 focused on refinement. Air-ride cab mounts isolated the driver from road shock. The interior was quieter. Peterbilt marketed this as the gentleman's cabover, and owner-operators who wanted comfort without sacrificing the COE's maneuverability bought them by the thousands. Number 3. Ford CL9000 brought innovation nobody expected from a manufacturer known for medium-duty trucks. 4-point AR suspension on the cab was decades ahead of competitors. The ride quality shocked drivers used to the harsh, direct-mounted cabs of earlier cabovers. Ford proved they could compete in the premium cabover market, even if they'd never match Kenworth or Peterbilt's custom options. Number 4. The International 9800 was the fleet workhorse. No flash, no custom options, just a cabover that ran 1 million miles with basic maintenance. The 9800 came with Cummins or Detroit power, and International's dealer network meant you could get parts anywhere. Fleet managers loved the simplicity. Drivers appreciated that it just worked day after day without drama. Number 5. GMC Astro 95 evolved through the 80s with the distinctive drag-foiler roof design. This wasn't just styling, GMC was testing early aerodynamic concepts. The Astro 95 with a Detroit diesel two-stroke had that unmistakable scream. The cab was basic, the ride was harsh, but the Astro could run coast-to-coast loaded heavy without breaking a sweat. Number 6. Freightliner's FLA dominated the mid-80s highway with lightweight aluminum construction. While competitors built with steel, Freightliner focused on reducing tare weight to maximize payload. The FLA became the choice for long-haul fleets that needed fuel economy and reliability over flash. Paired with a Cat or Cummins, these trucks racked up miles without the maintenance headaches of heavier competitors. Number 7. The Peterbilt 372 COE represented the final evolution of Peterbilt's cabover engineering. While the 362 focused on ride quality, the 372 delivered raw capability with heavier frame ratings and the ability to handle severe duty applications. Loggers and construction operators who needed cab-over maneuverability but vocational-grade durability found their answer in the 372. It proved cabovers could still compete in specialized markets, even as highway operators shifted to conventionals. But the writing was on the wall. Those bridge law changes meant conventional trucks could now stretch longer without sacrificing trailer space. The cabover's main advantage was disappearing. By the late 80s, the shift was clear. Conventional trucks were taking over, and the cabover era was ending. While cabovers were fading, the conventional trucks were entering their golden age. Number 8. The Peterbilt 359 was already a legend by 1987, but that year marked something special. The final numbered series trucks rolled off the line before Peterbilt transitioned to the 379. These last 359s came with build sheets signed by workers, special badges, and that classic long hood design refined to perfection. Today, exceptional show-quality examples can sell for $300,000 to $500,000. That's not inflation. That's what happens when you build the last of something truckers truly loved. Number 9. The Peterbilt 379 debuted at the 1987 Mid-America show to replace the 359. Peterbilt knew they could not just kill an icon, so they evolved it. The 379 kept the long hood and classic stance, but added modern touches. A larger windshield for better visibility. An updated interior with more room. The ability to spec bigger engines and better aerodynamics without losing that traditional look. The 379 would dominate for the next 20 years, becoming the ultimate owner-operator platform. Number 10. Kenworth's answer was the W900B. Higher hood than the W900A, accommodating larger radiators and cooling systems for the bigger engines now available. The W900B became the pure custom platform. Every option was available. Customers could spec paint, chrome, interior, sleeper, and drivetrain exactly how they wanted. No two looked alike. This was the truck for drivers who wanted to make a statement rolling into a truck stop. Number 11. Mack's Superliner II with the E9 V8 was pure American muscle. That 500 horsepower V8 delivered power through displacement and that unmistakable Mack sound. The Superliner II's long hood and aggressive stance made it the choice for heavy haul and construction work where brute force mattered more than fuel economy. These trucks were built to intimidate and perform. Number 12. Western Star 4964 was the Canadian legend that American loggers and heavy haulers discovered in the 80s. Overbuilt didn't begin to describe it. Reinforced frames, heavy-duty components, designed for punishment that destroyed normal trucks. Loggers in the Pacific Northwest ran these loaded with timber on roads that were barely trails. The 4964 just kept working when everything else broke. Number 13. GMC's final play in the heavy-duty market came with the General and its twin, the Chevrolet Bison. These massive conventionals featured chrome packages, powerful engine options, and that distinctive GMC styling. But by the late 80s, GM was pulling back from heavy trucks. The General and Bison marked the end of GMC's presence in the Class 8 market. Today, they're rare collector pieces representing what might have been if GM had stayed committed. Number 14. Diamond Rio was gasping its last breaths, but the Giant proved the brand still knew how to build tough trucks. Old-school engineering, simple and rugged. The Giant appealed to operators who valued durability over modern features. When Diamond Rio finally closed, these trucks became rolling reminders of American truck manufacturers that couldn't survive the consolidation of the industry. This was the large car culture at its peak. Custom paint jobs cost thousands, pinstriping done by hand, murals covering entire hoods. Chrome packages added tens of thousands to the price. Stainless breather stacks, polished aluminum wheels, custom lights. These weren't just work trucks, they were rolling statements of driver pride and independence. But the industry was changing. Fuel economy was becoming critical, and a new breed of truck was about to shake everything up. Number 15. 1985. Kenworth rolls out the T600 at the Louisville Truck Show. The crowd's reaction wasn't applause, it was shock. Truckers called it the anteater because of that sloped aerodynamic nose. Traditional drivers hated it. This wasn't what a real truck was supposed to look like. But here's what mattered. That ugly nose cut fuel consumption by up to roughly 20% in highway applications compared to a conventional W900, depending on spec and speed. When diesel was climbing past $1 per gallon, that savings added up to thousands per year. Fleet managers did the math. Owner-operators who swallowed their pride and bought T600s watched their fuel bills drop while their profits climbed. The resistance was real. Truck stops buzzed with arguments about how the T600 was un-American and looked like a European piece of junk. Drivers who had spent decades behind long hood conventionals couldn't accept that aerodynamics mattered more than tradition. But the numbers didn't lie. By the late 80s, even the skeptics were admitting the T600 worked. Number 16. Ford's LTL 9000 took a different approach. It kept the long hood that traditional drivers loved, but refined everything else. It offered better build quality than Ford's earlier attempts and premium interior options. Owners could spec it like a Peterbilt or Kenworth with custom paint and chrome packages. Ford proved they could compete in the owner-operator market, even if their reputation as a medium-duty manufacturer held them back. Number 17. Freightliner's FLC conventional was the lightweight champion. Aluminum cab construction kept tear weight down, maximizing payload capacity. The FLC came with that classic long hood styling, so it looked right to traditional drivers. But underneath, Freightliner focused on efficiency and simplicity. Fleet operators loved the combination of conventional looks with lightweight construction and lower operating costs. Number 18. The Peterbilt 377AEE represented the bridge between tradition and efficiency. It didn't have the flash of a 379, but it delivered what fleets and practical owner-operators needed: aerodynamic improvements, without sacrificing the Peterbilt build quality. The setback front axle and sloped hood cut wind resistance while maintaining enough hood length to satisfy traditional sensibilities. Spec'd with mechanical cats or Cummins, the 377 became a quiet workhorse that logged miles while others chased chrome. GMC pushed a different innovation with the integral sleeper. Instead of bolting a separate sleeper box behind the cab, they merged everything into one unit. This created a smoother, more aerodynamic profile. The interior flowed naturally from cab to bunk without the gaps and transitions of modular sleepers. But it also meant, when the cab was damaged, the entire sleeper was compromised. The modular era was ending. The fuel crisis of the late 70s and early 80s drove all of this. When diesel jumped from 50 cents to over $1 per gallon, every mile per gallon mattered. For owner-operators running 6 figures in annual miles, those savings paid truck notes and kept food on the table. These aerodynamic trucks proved efficiency didn't mean sacrificing power. The T600 could be spec'd with a 425 horsepower Cat 3406B or a 400 horsepower Cummins Big Cam. The LTL 9000 offered the same engine options as traditional Fords. Aerodynamics improved fuel economy without limiting performance. While highway trucks were evolving, the vocational market demanded pure brute strength. Highway trucks got the glory, but vocational trucks did the real work. Number 19. The Autocar DK was the dump truck king. Construction sites, logging operations, oil fields, these environments destroyed equipment that wasn't purpose-built for punishment. Construction crews demanded autocars because they knew these trucks could handle 12-hour shifts hauling gravel, dirt, and asphalt without breaking down. The DK came with a setback front axle for better weight distribution when loaded. Autocar built these one at a time to customer specifications. Heavy-duty frames, reinforced fifth wheels, air-actuated dump controls that worked in freezing temperatures. When a general contractor needed trucks that wouldn't quit, they bought autocars. Number 20. International's Paystar 5000 dominated oil fields and heavy construction with its set forward front axle configuration. This design shifted weight forward, improving traction on loose surfaces. The Paystar came with Cummins or Detroit power, and International's dealer network meant you could get parts in remote locations where other manufacturers had zero presence. Oilfield operators in Texas and construction crews building highways through mountain passes ran these trucks through conditions that would terrify normal drivers. Number 21. The Marmon 57P was the hand-built legend. Marmon never mass-produced trucks like Peterbilt or Kenworth. Each 57P was essentially custom-built to order. Only a few thousand were ever made, and they earned a reputation as the Rolls-Royce of heavy haulers. The 57P came with premium components throughout: Rockwell axles, Eaton transmissions, and the customer's choice of Cummins or Cat power. These trucks cost significantly more than competitors, but operators who needed absolute reliability for specialized heavy haul work paid the premium. Number 22. Oshkosh P-Series trucks were the snow-moving monsters that kept northern states functional during brutal winters. All-wheel drive, massive plows, salt spreaders. These weren't highway trucks. They were purpose-built machines for clearing roads when blizzards shut down everything else. Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, state DOT crews relied on Oshkosh to keep highways open. The P-Series could push through snowdrifts that buried normal trucks, and the all-wheel drive system provided traction on ice that left rear-wheel drive trucks spinning helplessly. Number 23. Mack's RW Valueliner was the simplified conventional for operators who didn't need Superliner flash. Same rugged Mack engineering, same reliable Maxidyne or E9 power options, but without the premium price tag. The RW dominated construction and municipal applications where durability mattered more than chrome and custom paint. These trucks ran garbage routes, hauled construction materials, and worked highway maintenance for decades without the attention that highway trucks received. Why did these vocational trucks last so long? They were purpose-built for specific jobs, not highway comfort. Reinforced frames handled stress that would crack normal trucks. Heavy-duty components, such as thicker axles, stronger transmissions, and upgraded cooling systems, were standard, not options. And the mechanical simplicity meant maintenance was straightforward. No complex electronics, no computer diagnostics, just proven components that mechanics understood. But the real story of the 80s wasn't just the trucks themselves. It was what drivers did with them, and the final innovations that closed out the decade. Number 24. The Freightliner FLD 120 arrived in 1989 as Freightliner answered to the custom conventional market. The FLD combined traditional styling with modern aerodynamics and became the platform that would dominate the 1990s. With its set-back front axle and long hood options, the FLD 120 gave owner-operators the classic look they wanted with the efficiency fleets demanded. Spaced with mechanical Cats or Cummins, it bridged the gap between the chrome era and the computer age that was coming. Number 25. The Kenworth T800 launched in 1986 as the versatile workhorse that could handle both vocational and highway applications. Shorter BBC than the W900, but tougher than the T600, the T800 became the choice for loggers, construction operators, and heavy haulers who needed a truck that could work hard and still run highway speeds when empty. The T800 proved you didn't need chrome and custom paint to build a legend. You just needed a truck that worked every single day without excuses. These 25 trucks defined the decade. But the engines that powered them deserve recognition too, not as separate entries, but as the mechanical hearts that made these legends possible. These engines aren't extra entries. They're the mechanical hearts that made the previous 25 trucks legendary. The Cummins Big Cam IV was the final evolution of mechanical perfection. This inline-six delivered 400-plus horsepower through pure displacement and turbocharging. No computers-controlled fuel delivery, just a mechanical pump responding directly to throttle input. Drivers could adjust fuel delivery with basic tools, turning up the power in a truck stop parking lot. Million-mile Big Cam IVs weren't uncommon with proper maintenance. Valve adjustments, injector changes, overhauls, all straightforward work that any competent mechanic could handle. The Caterpillar 3406B is what many consider the greatest truck engine ever built. Cat's inline-six delivered reliability that became legendary. The 3406B came in ratings from 350 to 425 horsepower, but the mechanical fuel system meant modifications were simple. Bigger turbo, fuel pump adjustments, and you were pushing 500-plus horsepower. The 3406B's reputation for durability made it the engine of choice for serious owner-operators who needed power and longevity. Clean examples still command premium prices today because drivers know what they're getting, an engine that works. The Detroit Diesel 8V92 TA Silver represented the screaming two-stroke's most powerful form. That distinctive sound announced your presence miles away. The Silver Series delivered up to 500 horsepower from the V8 configuration. Fuel economy was terrible. These engines drank diesel like water. But the power delivery was instant, and the two-stroke design meant simpler mechanics. No complex valve train, just injectors and blowers. Drivers either loved the sound and power or hated the noise and fuel consumption. There was no middle ground. Mack's E9 V8 was 500 horsepower of pure American engineering. That 672 cubic inch V8 produced power through raw displacement. The E9 had a sound unlike anything else. A deep rumble from that massive V8 spinning at low RPM. Mack built their own engines, their own transmissions, their own way. The E9 represented Mack's independence and refusal to follow industry trends. When Volvo bought Mack in 2000, that independence died. But the engines were only part of the story. The custom sleeper revolution transformed trucks into homes. Companies like Double Eagle and Mercury built massive sleepers that turned the space behind the cab into actual apartments. 72-inch sleepers with full-size beds, refrigerators, microwaves, TV sets, custom cabinets. These weren't just places to sleep between loads. They were living spaces for drivers who spent weeks on the road. The modification culture thrived because computers couldn't stop you. Fuel pump adjustments, turbo upgrades, custom exhaust systems. Drivers built the trucks they wanted. No emissions compliance, no electronic limiters, no manufacturer lockouts. If you had the mechanical knowledge and the tools, you could modify anything. This freedom ended when EPA regulations in the 1990s killed mechanical fuel injection forever. Electronic controls became mandatory. Emissions equipment added complexity. The era of the mechanical engine died not because the technology failed, but because regulations declared it obsolete. The 1980s were the last time truckers truly owned their machines. You could hear them, feel them, fix them, and shape them to your will. These 25 trucks weren't just vehicles, they were freedom on wheels. Modern trucks have more power on paper, but less freedom in reality. Electronic controls limit modifications. Emission systems add failure points. When computers malfunction, you're done. The collector market proves what was lost. These 80s legends command six-figure prices because they represent the final era when trucks were built for drivers, not bureaucrats. And that's why, decades later, truckers still miss them. Subscribe for more deep dives into the machines that built America.